What is being described as the horror movie of the year comes a story of codependency and the frightening ways that can manifest in the Michael Shanks written and directed film Together, starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie. The film follows Tim and Millie, played by Franco and Brie, who are years into their relationship and find themselves at a crossroads. The pair move to the country when Millie takes on a teaching job and Tim reluctantly follows suit. He is a struggling musician, so he can really work from anywhere, but it's obvious the move isn't preferred for him. There is clear hostility between the two, and you can sense they are not on the same page concerning their relationship. The tensions reach heights when, during a hike, they fall into a creepy cave and have an encounter with an unnatural force that alters their relationship forever. I'm going to try to stay spoiler free in this review because many of the elements in Together are best experienced firsthand. It's no secret, though, that the film is about Tim and Millie being a codependent couple who slowly begin to fuse with one another. Together is slated as a body and psychological horror, and the film really leans into those subgenres, especially the body. When they go there, they go there. And I found myself being very uncomfortable. I've seen my few share of body horror films, and I don't think I'm squeamish at all when it comes to horror, but it was something about Together that was making my skin crawl because the scenes that featured the couple's bodies merging were intense, and I honestly felt it all through my body. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Visually, the film was interesting, and it used clever ways to show how Tim and Millie literally couldn't be apart and how that affected them. There comes a part in the movie where separation between the two, also not a spoiler, would make them sick. So those were the interesting parts to watch. There's also the theme of Plato's soulmates theory mentioned in the film that shapes the trajectory of the plot. So the theory describes a myth where humans were originally whole beings with two sets of limbs and faces, but Zeus felt they would be too powerful, so he split them in two, and that's where the whole looking for your other half concept comes into play, and that theory comes to the forefront in Together. All I'm going to say is you'll never listen to Become One by the Spice Girls the same ever again after watching this movie. And although Together made me uncomfortable and stressed, it was also very funny and very unserious to me. I was laughing at the dynamic between Tim and Millie and how cringe some of the moments were between them, and also how snarky they were with one another. And yet, I found some of the moments between them endearing and sweet. That's a true testament to Dave and Allison. Them being a married couple in real life and also being together for over a decade gave me a sense of familiarity when watching them on screen. Also, the press run they have been doing for this film made me fall in love with them. I already liked them as a couple ever since I saw some interview a while ago Dave did talking about how Allison embraced his cats. But now I love them and I want them in everything together forever. But back to the movie before wrapping up, there is the underlying theme of codependency in Together, and I think it will spark a lot of conversations for couples and singles. It was extreme with the supernatural aspect, but it's very much accurate how many people don't have an identity outside of their relationships. That's their whole personality. And it can cause resentment, which it did for Millie and Tim. So I think it was really done well. Now, would I call Together the best horror movie of the year? Not quite. It was very entertaining, had memorable moments that will be singed in my brain, and it will push your comfort level, but the year is not over yet, and there are still a few horror movies I want to see in 2025 before I give Together that title. Either way, I think seeing this movie is worth a watch to experience the storyline for yourself. Together is playing now in theaters.